I am nothing if not a thrifty shopper. Buy low, sell never, because it's a Steam game and I don't think you can sell Steam games. I bought some games on Steam over the winter sale and have been loving them. So before the sale ends, here's a sample size of what I've bought, ranked in the order of how much I've played them. Sans the first one, because it's just DLC I've been meaning to buy, but haven't because I am lazy. You ever just want to kill Hitler? Because I sure have. The Sniper Elite series is a bit of a niche series, but it does sell worldwide, because everyone across the world loves getting to gun down Nazis. Especially when it's the big bad jerkwad behind it all. But the mission to kill the funny mustache man, ever since its introduction in Sniper Elite 2, has always been DLC. Why? Now, my theory, which only has very minor evidence for it, is that it's so the base game can be sold in Germany, because they are very not cool with depicting real historical people in their games. So now every Sniper Elite since has made you shill out some extra bones to get to remove Hitlers using a box of TNT. To be fair, I bought the Season Pass for $5.24, so I also get access to Operation Deathstorm, the 3-part super cool mission, random gun skins and skins for replays, and some new guns. For the most part, I haven't experienced much of the new stuff because I've been working on Sniper Elite 4 gunless, but from what I have experienced, the guns are alright. Except this hunk of junk. The double-barreled shotgun, or as it's known in-game, I forgot to look it up, is terrible. It does low damage, is classified as an SMG, so it can't be silenced, has horrible accuracy, and it can also fire rifle rounds. And the game has, on occasion, when messing around with it, switched what I'm firing while I'm firing. So while I could be aiming for a buckshot blast to just aim in the general vicinity of my enemy, no, actually, I fired a rifle round, missed entirely, and am now Swiss cheese on the ground. This gun is the worst gun in the game. Expect a challenge run on it soon. I'm totally gonna do that. Mark my words. Borderlands. I've never played Borderlands because I didn't find the time to play it. Oops. Technically, I have actually played a Borderlands game. When my aunt was living with us a while back, she brought over her PS4, and that had a Borderlands 2 on it. So I did play a little bit of split-screen Borderlands 2. And from what I did play, I enjoyed it. Whenever I bought the game, it came with 2 different versions. Those being Borderlands Game of the Year and Borderlands Game of the Year Enhanced. From what I can find on the internet, Enhanced basically makes it play a bit more like Borderlands 2, but it also comes with a drawback of setting your PC on fire if you play it for longer than 30 minutes. Considering I'm not one of those weirdos who, sits down, plays a game for 30 minutes, and then just goes and has a normal life or whatever, I chose to download the Game of the Year edition instead. I haven't played it yet because I have been busy with other projects and family life because, Christmas. But, I like Diablo. I like Halo. This is basically, from what I've heard, Halo Diablo, so I'll probably get a kick out of it. I'm not a major fan of Bethesda-based RPGs. I've already discussed Fallouts 3 and 4, but Skyrim, I haven't. And Skyrim annoys me because its combat sucks. The melee combat in these games, even in the one I liked, isn't amazing. So when 75% of the game is melee combat, the constant blocking gets even more annoying. I've tried to get into Skyrim 3 times. First on the PS4 copy I borrowed from my aunt, which I got about 10 hours in. Then again on Steam, which I got about an hour and a half into. And finally, the VR version. The first 2 I dropped because while exploring the world was fun, the environment was really good looking, the characters that I did encounter were memorable, and I enjoyed making potions and armor and all the crafting stuff, the combat is bad. Holding L2 until the enemy hits, then spamming R2 until they block me, taking breaks to consume an entire Olive Garden as needed, then rinse and repeating for every combat encounter, it got boring so unbelievably fast. The VR version I dropped because I was using my Oculus 2, and I don't know if it was the game itself that people say requires hundreds of mods to make playable, or that I wasn't using the Steam headset, but the game looked awful. It was running at maybe maybe 144p, and it was like not centered in the VR look. It was just it was so bad it was giving me a headache, and I didn't even make it out of the prison. That's how bad it was. Comparatively, a game that was made for the Oculus 2, Resident Evil 4, I've beaten that game multiple times, and I've played through it a couple of times just for fun, just to, screw around with the Tommy gun and whatnot, and I've never gotten a headache from it. I've gotten tired because my legs are made of gelatin, but never a headache. But for $374, that's an incredibly cheap price to at least try out Oblivion. Yeah, not Skyrim. I spent most of this time talking about Skyrim, but no, we're talking about Oblivion instead, because I wanted to try out Oblivion instead. Check that one out. And while yes, the combat is still bad, I kind of like exploring this game more. For starters, the character builder is incredibly crazy. Not only can you make your own classes, but there's quite a lot of stats you wouldn't expect. Like speed stat, not determining how fast you attack or even like how fast meters recover. No, it determines how fast you move in the overworld. There's also athletics, which does what I expected speed to do and affect how fast my meters refill. But you can level this just by jumping around like a excited toddler in a candy store. I haven't done a whole lot of the plot, but I did help this dude retire in exchange for a ring of water breathing. I wish real life rings did that. The class I made is a spell sword. No, not spell blade. Because I wanted to customize my class a little bit. Just, screw around a little bit. Be a bit wacky. Be a bit goofy. Make something fun. Make something my own. Do something creative. And not follow the herd like a sheep. Ah! I mean, come on, it's Luxor. Everyone knows what Luxor is. You know what Luxor is. I know what Luxor is. Shoot balls, do sick combos, and walk like an Egyptian while scoring so many points and collecting a whole bunch of shiny gems. For only $3.29, that's a worthy price to play the most addicting ball-based game in existence. Okay, maybe Peggle has it beat, but I've only played the Xbox 360 demo of that, so still up in the air. Get back to me on that once I finally buy Peggle. Not sure how much more I can say about Luxor because, again, it's Luxor. I think everyone knows what Luxor is. My favorite power-up is the lightning bolt. It may not be as useful as some of the other power-ups like the explosion one or the multicolor ball, but zapping orbs into non-existence is always satisfying. Anka reference. Boy, oh boy, do I enjoy decking demons and listening to the most incoherent lyrics in existence. These are not only actual words, this is English. After buying the game for $15 plus some DLC for $2.99, my hot teacher turns Japan into a ball that we're trapped inside, this brat feeds me a worm, and now I gotta save the world or some nonsense like that. Nocturne is a weird game even by RPG standards. Like, there's no equipment. The Demi-Fiend just punches people in the face and never bothers to put on a shirt for extra stats. Another weirdness is how you learn skills. You gotta find worms, and then equip the worms for stats, and once you level up enough, you get a new skill and equip it onto you instead of the worm. So instead of the worm learning skills, you're learning skills. For those who've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game, it's basically what grandmas in the 90s thought Pokemon was. Wander around, recruit demons, and commit all of the 7 deadly sins just for the heck of it. Gameplay is not too unfamiliar if you've played any Atlas RPG, but it does have the press turn system, something that's unique to the SMT series, because you won't see it in Persona. For every party member you or the enemy has, you'll gain 1 demon thing. Every action costs a demon thing, but then here's where the fun and strategy comes in. Missing or using an ineffective attack costs 2 demon things, but if you use an attack that the enemy is weak to, instead of being consumed, the demon thing starts glowing, and it can still be used. So if you act accordingly and use that brain of yours, you can get 8 actions out of 4 demons. I really enjoy exploring Ball World or whatever. The strange environments, the demons just kind of vibing everywhere, the whole The whole ghosts being everywhere, fragments of the old world, and Nyx. I like Nyx. This game is also a remake of an original PS2 classic. And oh boy! For starters, they just don't remake some things. The controls feel almost identical to the original. That is not great. Running around the overworld is really slippery. At least they removed rotating the camera, stopping you in place. Look at the main menu. The text is nice and sparkly and looks remade, but that thing in the back looks like it'd have an unfun texture to poke. These models look great when we're talking, and then we swap to PS2 cutscenes. Oh, but they're iconic for the fans of the original game. Okay, then make it an option. New cutscenes, old cutscenes. It's really funny to be playing a game in widescreen and then boom, 4x3 jump scare. Also, this game spawned a huge meme because there was a logo on the box saying, hey, Dante from the Devil May Cry series is here. You like those games? He's here. Look at him. He got guns. And the crazy part is that in this remake of the game, that's the $2.99 DLC I bought. Yeah, something that was part of the original game's release was made DLC. Now, to be fair, that's because technically speaking, Dante is part of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne's 2nd edition. The first version of the game didn't have any sort of special character, and then there was a third version of the game that had Raiden Kuzunoha instead of Dante. So technically speaking, while yes, it's not the original version of the game, the version that every American got is $2.99 DLC. And I bet you're like, well, what about the Japanese? What about Raiden Kuzunoha? His version is free DLC. Now maybe that's because they don't own Dante, so they had to make it priced, so that way the other game company would allow them to re-include him. But that's still annoying, and it's crap from a butt that the only way to represent the game that we Americans got, we have to shell out, when not on sale, $10. Granted, as this is a remake, there are some minor enhancements. For instance, the graphics look much better than they do on the PS2 version. Being able to select what skills your fused demon gets, which, yes, is a enhancement, and yes, was added in later in a patch because they didn't do that at first. Voice acting, and I think that's it. I'll be honest here. If you have already emulated the game, own a PS2 version, or it's not on sale, the remake is not worth it. Unless you really like Raiden Kuzunoha, really care about graphics, or don't want to have to constantly back out and then back in of menus to get the skills you want on your new demons. I hate that this is the most played game out of the list. Is this game basic? Yes. Is this game boring? Yes. Is this game literally just chores? Yes. I've still played it more than I have SMT3. I think all humans just have a natural desire to make things better. We all want to create, and often don't have an outlet for it. We've all looked at our current living places and thought, God, I wish I had the time, money, and tools to fix it up a bit. And that's what this game is to me. Accept jobs, and then use all of your tools to make money. Move things, sell things, paint things, plaster things, build walls, and most fun, hit that crap with a big freaking hammer and destroy everything! Also, level up your techniques to be a better moneymaker. Sure, most often I'm cleaning up someone else's house and fixing their stuff and installing a dishwasher or whatever, but this is all so that I can make money. And with that money, I can create my perfect home. Currently, I've got this cute little place. Allow me to give you a tour. I've got the kitchen, which also doubles as a dining room and a workroom for whenever it's time for me to accept new jobs. Up ahead, we've got the bathroom with this cool toilet and cooler sink. The bedroom, for me and the missus, I'll totally get one of these days. And finally, a sick little gamer room. No windows allowed in here. Sunlight is for chumps who don't have platinum trophies. Yeah! I've had to do quite a bit of work here. Plastering the walls, knocking down others to readjust angles, and if I'm being honest, I mostly bought this because I watched a YouTube video about terrible house flippers removing everything unique and painting everything white, and it made me so mad I bought an entire game to do not that. I gotta do everything in my power to undo that terrible, terrible crime. I mean, yes, my house looks like I vomited all over the walls after eating every single Skittle in the universe, but at least it's not as white as a tub of mayo. Or a popular boy band. I don't know how to end videos. Sniper Elite Gunless is coming out before February, I swear.